Morning. Place the expression of race. Can you see the pride of Panther? Said that every revolutionary act is an act of love, and this is an act of love.
Hey, can you hear me, Cynthia?
Said the P is the power that.
Yes, I can.
Okay. Now it sounds real clear. Everything sounds clear.
Yes. Well, the music is a little scattered.
It's low.
Yeah, and it's going in and out.
Hey, Stone, you hear the same thing? The music is going in and out.
It's a little quiet, but it sounds good on my end.
Yeah, we gotta make it louder next week.
See the pride of the Panther as he glows in splendid grace. Stop like obstacle.
How you doing, Monica?
I'm good. All power.
All power.
Steve must grow regardless of the fact it's planted stone. Can't you see the pride of the Panthers? They're unified as one. The flower bloom.
Hey, all power to the people.
All power.
All power to the
All
people.
power. All power to the people.
Welcome to week 3 of the Hasan Shakur education course. Each week, students will be assigned readings and videos to study and will convene once a week to discuss the material, interpret and break down the core concepts, questions and answers, and to prepare for next week's study material. Remember, taking notes can be really beneficial, even audio ones, and don't be afraid to ask for help. We are all in this together. Each week, you are encouraged to bring the following: quotes from the material, questions you have, your interpretation of material, core concept, revolutionary spirit. That's important. Comrades, our studies this week will focus on the concept of Vanguardism, the documentary Black Panthers, Vanguard of the Revolution, and the story of the Black Panther Party. What is Vanguard? Vanguardism is the context of Leninist revolutionary struggle. Relates to a strategy whereby the most class-conscious and politically advanced sections of the proletariat or working class, described as the revolutionary vanguard, form organizations. They take actions to draw larger sections of the working class towards revolutionary politics and to serve as manifestations of proletarian political power opposed to the bourgeois. So what is the vanguard? The vanguard is a small group educated in the issues and material conditions that we deal in. And when that small group come together to organize the rest of the community into forming organizations that fight back against those that's oppressing us. That's who the vanguard are. Without the vanguard, you have no movement. Because everybody, it's like after the riots, everybody go back to their corner, everybody go back home. They put their Black Lives Matter posts on their windows. They go on their social media spaces and they wait for the next person to get killed for them to go outside and go protest. But the vanguard is working every day. They're not reactionary. They're continuously working to help people in the communities. That's what the vanguard is. They're always there, the cadre. They're always there fighting. According to Lenin, the purpose of the Vanguard Party is to establish a dictatorship of the proletariat, a rule of the working class. The change of ruling class from the bourgeoisie to the proletariat makes possible the full development of socialism. You have to organize, the masses have to be organized. And that's our main problem. That's our main issue as a bottom class. We're not organized. We have no institutions that fight for us, that produce new generations of fighters. We have none of that. Our oppressors are organized. They have meetings, they have board meetings, they have shareholder meetings. They're always having meetings to talk and to strategize on how to keep their boots on our neck. In this thing here, the Vanguard Party must establish a leadership role within within the proletariat class that's going to speak and organize the rest of the masses towards fighting back. This is Fred Hampton right here, basically speaking about the survival programs, how you put what we do into practice, what the Vanguard, what their responsibility basically is. He's going to explain that. Then after he explains it, I'm gonna go back to the slides.
I'm the deputy chairman of the state of Illinois Black Panther Party, Fred Hampton. And a lot of people don't understand the Black Panther Party's relationship with white mother country radicals. A lot of people don't even understand the words that they're refused a lot. What we're saying is that there are white people in the mother country that are for the same type of thing that we are for stimulating revolution in the mother country. And we said that we work with anybody for a coalition, anybody that has revolution on their mind. We're not a racist organization because we understand that racism is an excuse used for capitalism. And we know that racism is a byproduct of capitalism. Everything would be all right if everything was put back in the hands of the people. And we're going to have to put it back in the hands of the people. Everybody in the state of Illinois is going to have to be involved or even around the revolution because we're going to have one. We're going to have to do more than talk. We're going to have to do more than listen. We're going to even have to do more than learn. We're going to have to start practicing, and that's very hard. We got to start learning, and you learn through practice. We got to start making mistakes, and you learn through making mistakes. We got to start getting out there with the people. And a lot of times we think we're better than the people. That's the insult, and that's criminal. Think you're better than the people. We got to get together and learn where it's at. It's going to take a lot of hard work. Especially for children is something else. You ought to dig on it. Every sister in this audience. Every sister in this audience ought to get themselves together and come on down and help us with the children program. Y'all here come down and help feed them children in the morning. We have breakfast for children because we teach the people. I'm the deputy chairman. Breakfast for children is something else. Through observation and participation, that people can be fed free. That people say, socialism is the people. You're afraid of socialism, you're afraid of socialism, you're afraid of socialism. Just we know the riches, we know the matter, and we still say, in a sense, as far as this system goes, we in the Black Panther Party talk about dedication and understanding what's in the valley, knowing that the people in the valley, knowing that we can be saved from the valley, knowing that like the people in the valley, knowing that our enemies is on the mountaintop, our friends are in the valley. We say even though it's not on the mountaintop, we're going back to the valley. I be in the hospital every day. I be in the streets propagandizing every day. I be working with everybody every day. I be preaching that solidarity is the thing. The end of a complete wipeout of imperialism is the thing. So if you're gonna be thinking about me, that's what Bobby would be teaching. If you're gonna be thinking about us, we said we ain't no thing about going nowhere, getting killed. All we wanna know is that you're doing what we can do and we will do it. And you got to do that. You can't do it unless you believe that you can do it. In the spirit of liberation, we understand that they want everybody in the power in jail. And we know that if you try to figure out and separate and divide who should go and who shouldn't go, we spend no time being working for the people. So the quick solution, being around, nobody goes. Nobody goes. You stay right here. With the people, because we know the people. Okay, you put your hands down now. We say all power to all people. We say white power to white people. Brown power to brown people. Yellow power to yellow people. Black power to black people. X power to those that be left out. We say Panther power to Vanguard party. When you leave here saying last week, before you go to bed, man, say I am a revolutionary. Make that the last word. In case you don't wake up, then somebody might believe it and you might, end up in what they call it, revolutionary happy hunting ground. Say that. I am a revolutionary. Say it when you're going out. Say that okay, we're gonna say it while we're going out. And we done found a place called Free Friends. Don't that sound nice? Hey, let's do that. Free Friends. I ain't even there yet.
All power to the people. Like when we doing this, like we're not making this up. Like what we're talking about here, like nobody's made this up. This is not nobody's opinion. I played this video for you to hear it from the mouths of our forefathers, the people that really started this movement, to show you what they were really fighting for, not what I'm saying they were fighting for. It's right out of his mouth. Like he's telling you that like Pantherism is not, we're not racist. This is not a racist organization. This is not a criminal organization. We don't need to go underground. We don't need to keep nothing that we are saying secret, because we're not saying anything here that is illegal. Everything that we're talking about is what we deserve as taxpayers, as citizens in every community that we in around here. So they're basically saying the Vanguard Party is the party that keeps the struggle going. That's out there tomorrow. When we all wake up tomorrow's Monday, there's somebody being made homeless. There's somebody that the landlords are attacking. There's somebody that this system is attacking. Who is going to stand up and fight for them? I mean, like, who is going to fight for them? Who's not going to wait till they kill somebody else, put their knee on somebody, shoot somebody 50 times before you come outside and protest? What are we doing about the children tomorrow that are starving? So they come up with the Serve the People programs. Panther survival programs included free breakfast for children, free food for families, free health clinics, free sickle cell testing, community police patrols. And at the end of this video, before I post it to YouTube, we're gonna put it out there because we do these things in our communities. Right now, as we're speaking, our party, our organizations, we do these things on the ground. Like, we're not just talking about it. It is just not theory. Like, we're out there on Wednesdays giving out food. We had a meeting today where we were talking about that we're going to protest another, I think it was called BlackRock. It's a company, a real estate company that's out here stealing people's homes, pushing them out into the streets. We have meetings like speaking, how are we going to do that? How is it going to look? What is the purpose of it? What is the reason why we're doing it? What is the strategy? You have this meetings, then you carry it out. Free party members set it up. Yeah, the party members set it up. We involve as many of the community members as we can, because without people power, you have nothing. That's Bobby Seale. We were showing love. We were showing love for our people in our community. The Breakfast for Children program served 20,000 meals per week to young people in 19 communities. It wasn't a fly-by-night thing. It really actually was making a difference. Like I said, we have this stuff in our community. Everybody that's listening here, if you want to be an organizer, you want to do something, they're showing you. These are the templates of what you do, like meeting the people's needs. You can do this in what community you're in. And then we can all organize together, come together and centralize it to get better results. They had a paper. They created a paper. All of this is to try to get your voice out, to create a bigger platform to get what you're trying to say out. People we'd never be able to see or talk to in prison could get their hands on the paper. It was very important to get the paper out. The paper contained the 10-point platform, illustrations, say who the party was, what they were about, what they hoped to achieve, etc. It cost 12 cents to print the paper, and they sold it for $0.25. They load boxes or bundle papers in the assembly line while singing. this is some of the illustrations that they had on there. All the weapons we used, all the weapons we used to use against each other, we now use against the oppressors. They put it into an art form, they put it in literature and get the information out. We got TikTok now, we got Instagram, we have all these different platforms at our fingertips. You could sit, I'm in Newark, New Jersey. You could sit right here in Newark, New Jersey and be able to get a message halfway across the world. It wasn't possible 100 years ago to do something like that. Like you have to send a letter and it take like weeks. They put it on the boat and send it across the world to get the information out. Police relations. In Oakland, being Black means that you don't feel the same feelings of safety as white people. Black men are treated just as poorly in California as in Mississippi. Police draw guns and use excessive force regularly. To say the least, police relations were not good in Oakland. But it's the same here, the same thing all over here. And this was in the 60s, late 60s. We're in 2023. We know they kill people everywhere. We know now we like, it's out there. It's out for everybody to see. I don't think anybody can make an argument. Anybody that's reasonable can make an argument that the police are not a weaponized force sent out against the community. It doesn't matter who you are. Actually, by the numbers, more people are killed by the police, more white people are killed by the police than Black people. But I'm saying, if you go by the total number of who's killed, I mean, like they're getting killed too. Poor white people are getting killed too. Spanish people are getting killed. Mexicans are getting killed. Like it is just not targeted against one segment. It's against all the segment that they feel are not human enough, that are not in a high enough class where they deem humanity, they deem human. Oh, I got it. We use the Black Panther as a symbol because of its nature. Panther doesn't strike anyone, but when he is assailed upon, he'll back up first. If the aggressor continues, then he'll strike back. I could dig it. Like, we're not aggressive towards anybody. Everybody here is trying to live their life. You're going on by your life every day, trying to pay your bills. But these landlords are savages. They're going to up that rent. Maybe next month, the month after that, 6 months from now, they're coming. The police are coming. So what you going to do? Following the law to the letter, they patrol police carrying their firearms. We'll stop, we'll get out the cars, and we'll walk up to the scene. Those who have brought their rifles will carry them in open, clearly visible. We will stand at a distance where the police couldn't say we were interfering with the arrest or detention of the individual and make sure there's no brutality. We refer to ourselves as the Vanguard, and we were leading by example, a new cause that we wanted the entire community to follow. The parties of pigs chants spread around the country through colleges, campuses, and other protest movements. The police must be brought under control by any means necessary, including through force of arms, if need be. These racist Gestapo pigs have to be stopped. Brutalizing our communities, or we're gonna have to take guns and drive them out. Chairman Bobby Seale. We can't have freedom until capitalism is brought down. We can't be free under the system that oppresses us to begin with. Elaine Brown. Like all these different things, like the paper, the public relations, all this stuff was to get the word out, was to reach people, to let them understand the platform, what they were actually fighting for. They didn't mix around, they didn't dodge the question, they named names. Like you saw in that last slide, right here. We can't have freedom until capitalism is brought down. Like she wasn't beating around the bush talking about, she right there, capitalism. That's what we are all dealing with. That's what we are all suffering under, a capitalist state that's cannibalistic, and it will eat everybody, and then it gentrify and bring new people across. The political ideological line, the militant appearance and posture, how they carry themselves, and their uniform all impose a higher standard of revolutionary movements. The media was drawn to the image. There's a standard of aggressiveness, of militance, of forcefulness that is the sort of standard we haven't had in the past. Julian Bond. Now you have to carry yourself the way you move. You can't be out here saying crazy stuff, just saying whatever comes to your mind. You can't be reactionary. That's why we study. That's why we study history to understand what's going on, the material conditions that we are facing. You don't just move off your feelings. You just move off how you thinking or what happened to you. It's what happened to everybody, what they're doing to everybody. Once you become disciplined in your approach, people will see it and they will have to respect it. Even though they don't agree with you, they'll have to respect it. The Black Panthers are unique. I think the Black Panthers really understood the media. They knew what we were after, and they knew what we were focusing on. Some could say the media exploited the Black Panther Party, but you could also say they use us to their advantage. Say what you want, but you got to get the message out. You got to go where the media is at. The media is able to reach millions of people at a time. Right now, I think they started the All-Star game already. I think the All-Star game is going on. Millions of people are watching that. Whenever that media, their platforms, they're bringing their platform out to try to distract the people. If you can use that platform to your advantage, you use it. You use it to reach people, to speak to people. You see, that's why it's so important for these athletes, for them to speak out, which they really don't do. But that's why it's important, because they have that platform to reach so many people. But they're scared of doing that because you're going to get penalized. They're going to cut your mic. You ain't going to be playing. You're going to be playing in China somewhere. So they're scared to say anything. While the media portray more of a macho masculine vibe for the Black Panther Party, they work diligently to combat sexism and misogyny. Women made up the majority of the rank and file membership by the end of the 60s. They upheld equality and called out misbehavior. Gender roles were largely abolished. In practice, this meant that women had guns and men cooked the children breakfast. We're trying to get our base ready. When we get our base ready, I'm gonna be cooking. I don't care if I'm the one cooking. I don't care if I cook every morning. I know how to cook breakfast. I'm gonna be in there chefing it up. Right now in our organization, most of it is women. Probably 60% of us in our organization is women. It's led by women.
All power to the people. All power. All power.
I mean, like
especially the local chapter here. All power.
Yeah,
all
that's our local chapter. It's made up of women. There's no dictatorship. Yeah, we're not trying to tell nobody what to do. We're not holding nobody down. There's no patriarchy here. We have meetings, we speak, we all give our input, and we come together really democratically and make decisions. Really, in the background, this slide was put together by one of the sisters, one of the female comrades. She put this slide together. I mean, for me to be able to come out here, and speak, we all work together. There's no, even when we serve the food, the sisters were talking about how their back and shoulders was hurting because from carrying the boxes on Wednesday, because they get in there. They get in the mud, they grab the boxes, they serve people, they work out there. We all work out there. There's nobody better than anybody here. Gun control. Gun control was one of the battles that they chose, that Huey and Bobby Seale chose, that was impacting the community. And they used gun control to get out their platform, their political platform, on what they stood against. Gun control was a direct response from the state of California to Black Panther Party. The police department had gone to lobby Congress to get a bill written. So Huey called up and said, we have to go to Sacramento. It was conceived as a big media event. The press was always at the California state capitol, Bobby Seale. They took the caravan to Sacramento, about 30 Panthers, most of them armed, about 30 Panthers. Look, he called, this was in the 60s. He called a meeting. Look, we got to go out there, man. They're gonna have their cameras out there. Look, we need to show and speak about our platform, what we believe in. They got inside cars. They didn't have millions of dollars. They didn't have first class tickets. They didn't do none of that. They just got up and went to work. The same thing we do here, going to the council meeting, going to the school board meetings, where these people have their cameras and stuff like, and putting our line down, putting our 10-point program down, putting down why we out here struggling. Because if you don't have that other narrative, there's only one narrative, the state's narrative. On the lawn of the Capitol, Governor Ronald Reagan was holding a press conference. The press left Reagan to talk to the Panthers. The Black Panther Party for Self-Defense calls upon the American people in general, and the Black population in particular, to take careful note of the racist California legislature, which is now considering legislation aimed at keeping the Black people disarmed and powerless. At the same time, racist police agencies throughout the country are intensifying the terror, brutality, murder, and repression of the Black people, end quote, Chairman Bobby Seale. What they're doing now, they're doing the same thing. When every time that you see on the media something happen in the inner city, where the most impoverished community, the first thing they say is we gotta get rid of guns. Like seriously, I know most people, because this is gonna go on YouTube, and most people are going to see this, and they're gonna be like, they've all been brainwashed with state media that gun violence is the problem. That's what we should be fighting. You should get rid of all guns. If you got rid of all guns tomorrow, that don't stop crime. Crime is from poverty, from people being poor. You can't eat. If you can't eat, you're going to commit crime to take care of yourself. There's always an underground economy. This is not something that I'm making up because Africa says so. This is a scientific thing. It's scientific. Poverty causes crime. So when you focus directly on guns, you're just trying to find something to blame, a scapegoat, or use it, because it's like a double-edged sword. You could use it to take away power from the community, to take guns, to take what little power left the people perceive they have from them. The whole time, the problem still persists. The landlords are still there. The jobs are still not paying enough. Bread still is too high. Eggs still is too high. Like, right, man, for Valentine's, you know how many people got people eggs? Yeah, that wasn't funny. That didn't laugh. That didn't laugh. What up? You laughing over there, mama? After entering the floor of the legislature, retreat to local gas station. A police officer sees them and rages for backup, and several cruisers show up. A Panther was asked by media, "Why do you believe the California legislature is racist?" "You're part of it. It's a white system." I don't think that the loaded guns are the way to solve a problem that should be solved between people of goodwill. And anyone who would approve of this kind of demonstration must be out of their mind. Ronald Reagan. This is Ronald Reagan. They were over there protesting Ronald Reagan. At this time, he wasn't president. I think he was the governor of California right now. And they went directly where he was going to be because they knew the cameras were going to be there to get out their line. And what did he do in return? He did exactly what reactionaries do. Like, look at what he said. I don't think that loaded guns are the way to solve a problem that should be solved between people of goodwill. You people are not of goodwill. No capitalist is of goodwill. They're here to oppress. They're here to steal. They're here to scavenge. They don't care about the people. Nothing you're doing is of goodwill. We've had 40, 50 years to look back and see what the Reagan policies, all the stuff that these people came up with, that the government came up with, none of that was goodwill towards the people. So that argument don't make no sense. I believe go get a gun. Everybody in your family should have a gun. Have a gun inside your house. There's no need to give up your gun. Who am I giving up my gun to? Who in government has goodwill towards the people? None of them. And we have the evidence now. This was in the 60s. We are in 2023. Do you trust these people to give them anything, to believe anything they say? This is really where the media political demonization of the Black Panther Party kicks off. Yet many people drove clear across the country to join the ranks of the BPP. Civil rights was kind of a Southern movement. Having this kind of organization talking about housing, welfare, and health, that was stuff that people in the North could relate to. Everybody's going through that stuff. Everybody's going through really strong housing. I know people going homeless now that they're pushing out their homes. Well, I know that because we're on the ground, just what we're working on. But like, people are catching hell right now. The people flocked to the party despite what Reagan and what the media was doing, because they were dealing with those conditions. Once you put the programs out, once you start to help the people and you aid them with the issue that they're dealing with in their day-to-day life, they're not going to turn away. I don't care what the government say. I don't say what anybody say. They're going to flock to those programs because those programs are helping them. They're beneficial. It's an incentive motive to it. So they're going to flock to them. And when they flock to them, with like the work that we're doing in the community, people are going to join. People are joining us weekly. People are coming every week to our party, and it's growing weekly. And as fast as it grows, and that's how it becomes what? I don't want to use the word dismantle. I want to say they dismantle it from the inside out. I mean, like, but basically that's what happened. That's exactly what happened. That's how the party got dismantled. We're going to go into it. I don't want to say too much. There was no screening of new members. no vetting process, and open membership. Yo, we have to learn. We have to learn from what happened in the past. They're saying it right here. There was no screening of new members, no vetting process, and open membership. Yo, when we bringing people in, they can't feel upset because we need to vet them. We have to vet you. We have to make sure you're serious. We have to make sure the City Hall didn't send you. This led to too much growth, too fast, and led to issues within the party. Of course, it's easy to judge by today's lens of activists, seeing decades of infiltration, Fed push, infighting, informants, and a whole slew of other issues. In the late 1960s, Kathleen Cleaver was already concerned. We would send members of the organization to help connect people to us, but it was destabilizing in the sense that it was somewhat chaotic, the way the party was growing. It was too fast and too big. Even today in our meeting, our local meeting, we were talking about somebody going out to reach out to another party, another group, to talk to them how we could work together. We have to be careful. These are big responsibilities. This is not just something that you just do just do to be doing. You have to believe in what you're doing. And like we gave the responsibility to somebody that we knew could handle it. Somebody that's smart enough to be able to understand the people that they're dealing with. Somebody say something? Please mute if you're not speaking. Eldridge Cleaver wrote Soul on Ice after collecting the publishing the essays he wrote in prison. Cleaver ends up joining the Black Panther Party and becomes the Minister of Information. Cleaver made the party credible to Black intellectuals, to the white left intellectuals. They all loved Eldridge Cleaver. Eldridge had this incredible ability to encapsulate a thought in a few sentences and form it into an artistic statement that stabbed right into the heart of the enemy. And he did that all the time. Felipe Luciano, Young Laws. He still be on WBAI. I'll be hearing on WBAI. Well, when I listen to WBAI, because they be coming something else, but I ain't gonna say that. Eldridge had an uncontrollable personality. He made issues for the party over time. Huey P. Newton was charged for the murder of a cop. Everyone stayed up all night to get into the hospital to see him handcuffed to a gurney. He was informed he was facing the death penalty. Several other Panthers were already in jail from their protests at the California State Capitol in Sacramento. Eldridge was the only available spokesperson for the party. The Black Panther Party demands that Huey P. Newton be set free. We wish to make it clear that if he is not set free, there's little hope of avoiding armed open war in the streets of California, sweeping across the nation. Eldridge Cleaver. Hey, Chairman Zulu.
All power to the people.
Yeah, was there a problem with him making that statement?
No, I don't think there was a problem with him making that statement because Eldridge assumed leadership. In fact, Eldridge was responsible for building the infrastructure of the party at the time. Eldridge said, and many Panthers across the country keeping in step with revolutionaries around the world, that if their political prisoners were not freed by the enemy state, they were going to free them by any means necessary. So I think that was a right-on statement at the time.
All power to the people. Well, now we all know, well, most of us know about COINTELPRO, most of us that are activists. But we're about to talk about COINTELPRO and their purpose. COINTELPRO served the purpose of neutralizing Black nationalist hate groups. Where is this approach with fascist white nationalist groups? Through these methods, expose, disrupt, misdirect, discredit. They intended to neutralize this group through arrests, informants, murder. Hoover sent letters almost weekly to dozens of cities for new ideas to neutralize the Black Panther Party. 245 out of 290 COINTELPRO actions were against the Black Panther Party, specifically.
Stop right there, Captain. Stop right there. Just that last part. I want that to really resonate with the comrades. Think about this. They had 300 actions against the whole Black liberation movement at the time. That included the Nation of Islam, SNCC, SCLC, the Black Panthers, RAM, and other groups. But out of those COINTELPRO attacks, 297 out of 300 was
No. All power, all power. They
All
had
power.
they had 290, 245 out of 290.
That's right, exactly. Think about that. Think about that, comrades. Think about that right there. Why did they focus so much of their attention on the Black Panther Party? And Africa is getting into that and spoke to it already. But just think about that.
Yeah, now it's deep. When that caught me too. And I was about to stop and speak about that. Like, just look at it. Out of 290 COINTELPRO actions, 245 were against the Panthers. That tells you something. It, like, we don't have to say Panthers are the Vanguard party. It's right there. It's right there in your face. The entire program was put together to go against the Panthers because they knew the Panthers was highlighting the contradictions. The Panthers was the opposite of what the state was. Unlike most of the other groups, most of the other people that say they're fighting for the, like they do it now. You have people out there now, they swear to everything that they're fighting for the people. But we all know the truth because the FBI don't go to their house. You just heard the chairman speaking. But when they had that January 6th event, they went to the chairman's house. They didn't go to all these other fake activists. They went to Chairman Shaka Zulu's home where he stayed at, and they tried to question him. And like I told you, I'm gonna put the link to the video because everything that they're speaking about on here, yo, in 2023, we're doing in our community now. And this is like a template. If you want to organize the community, if you want to put something together in the community, like, you follow exactly what they're saying, and that's what we're doing. We were followed, harassed, our phones were tapped, and our families were harassed. Erica Huggins, Black Panther Party. And FBI memo states, we must create suspicion with respect to their respective spouses. Your imagination and resourcefulness must be employed in order for the Bureau to be successful. Break up homes. Find ways to say, like, this person is doing this, like they're sleeping with this. Like, cause friction within the home. Once you break up the home, they know you break everything up. Once the family is destabilized, the community is lost. And they know what they're doing. They're sending informants. I'm going to get to a part, I don't even want to say it. I'm going to move on to the next one. COINTELPRO Party Divide. Rise of the Black Messiah. One mandate made very clear was do not make the program public, like they do now. Keep everything secret. Don't talk about it. And FBI memo states, the objectives of the counterintelligence operations were prevent the rise of a Black Messiah who could unify the movement, garner public support, prevent growth of the movement to the youth, keep militant Black groups isolated, preventing them from gaining support in the Black community or gaining respectability. So wherever you at and you put your program together, this is the strategy they're going to use against you. Like, it's no secret. Like, you need to understand this. They're going to isolate you. They're going to demonize you. They're going to try to put spies and people in your group to try to make it fall. This is the United States government. This is J. Edgar Hoover. He led the what was it, the FBI? The FBI, the FBI, not the CIA. The CIA do the same thing on other people's land. But anyway, this is state sanctioned. Our tax dollars paid all these people's living. It paid all their bills. Like, we funded this. Hoover was concerned with the rise of the Black Messiah. He saw Fred Hampton as filling that role. William O'Neill became an informant in June 1969 at a rally on December 3rd. Chairman Fred predicted his coming death. Howard Saffold of the Chicago PD said this was a political assassination. Like, they know what they're doing. They know, like William O'Neill. There's a movie out, The Black Messiah. Go watch that movie. If you haven't seen the movie yet, go watch it. Go see his role that he played, because this is what they're going to do to your groups. Once you form a group and you try to help the people, they're coming after you. Like, don't be in denial about what they're going to do. They're going to come after you. We're here to tell you. We deal with it on the front lines right here in Newark, New Jersey. Like I told you, the FBI went to the chairman's house. He has the video. He recorded them, and he told them to leave. He told them he had nothing to say to them. It wasn't like it was a secret meeting. It's on video. Eldridge Cleaver started calling the Black Panther Party weak and reformist, denouncing the party and its administrators. We just couldn't get excited about survival, Kathleen Cleaver. But now we know. Now with 2023, we know what COINTELPRO did. We know how COINTELPRO divided the party from inside out. Like, we have no ideas the message that they sent him, that they sent to Cleaver, what they were telling him, what they made him think was going, that Huey would say, or anybody else in the party would say. And when you watch the Black Messiah, they have that in there too, where the pigs are sending one group one message and another group another message. Newton kicks the Panther 21 out of the party following an open letter criticizing him and demanding transparency in donated funds. Eldridge Cleaver, on the other hand, supported and defended the Panther 21 effectively. There was a split in the party. The Black Panther Party has split into two factions. This is an FBI memo, like, because they're doing it. They know they're the one causing the split. They know they won't cause the friction. Like, even right here where we at, we in Newark, New Jersey. When our party starts to grow, that's exactly what they're going to do to us. They're going to come in there and try to split us apart. I don't know what they're going to come up with. I don't know what they're going to say, but they're going to come up with something.
All power to the people. That's right.
Yeah, they got to come up with something, because they can be real. They can be out front with it. So they're going to say something about the chairman. They're going to come up with stuff with me. They're going to say something about all the members, anybody that's part of this. Like, and I don't listen to nothing anybody says. Yo, I'm with people every day. We working together. If what I'm seeing with my eyes ain't good enough, nothing you're going to tell me is going to be good enough. So when people come to me, even now, people do come. I've been doing this for years, and they say stuff about the chairman. I say, I don't care. I don't care what you say. I don't want to hear what you're saying. I don't care about none of that. Like, as long as the chairman is doing the work, I see him putting in the work on the ground, all that stuff don't matter to me. Like, and we need, like, it's the red book. We all got to get the red book. Once you read the red book, you're going to see how you're supposed to follow protocol in the red book. We thought the FBI wanted to kill us, shoot us, blow up our offices. I don't think we realized how insidious their plan was. Kathleen Cleaver. The split erupted across the media. Jim Dunbar AM had booked Huey on his show and set up a phone call with Eldridge from Algeria. Huey had hoped to show that Eldridge and himself were on the same page. Eldridge sabotaged that, criticizing David Hilliard, chief of staff of the Panthers, and the party felt falling apart at the seams. Huey was livid and called Eldridge back, expelling the intercommunal section. Could you explain that to us real quick, Chairman Zulu?
All power to the people. So the intercommunal section was the international section in Algeria, where majority of the Panthers went when they left the United States. And they were recognized by the Algerian government, who gave them a diplomatic status. And so they set up and they visited other revolutionary groups around the world, advocating on behalf of revolution in the United States as former coalitions. So that was the international base for Pantherism.
All power, all power. Party divide. Eldridge support, am I going back? No. Eldridge supporters left the party and went underground. This kicked off a purge in the party. Some didn't know how to follow. Some were frustrated and left. In some cases, the split erupted into violence between Panthers. This was the goal of the FBI. We've been pitting people against each other. That's all worked out really well. But now we don't have to worry about that anymore. They're going to keep it going on their own. In light of all of this, the Panthers go in an entirely different direction. Electoral politics. We know how that turned out. Bobby Seale ran for mayor in Oakland. Elaine Brown ran for the city council. I got a call at Baltimore Panther office from someone on the central committee who told me to begin closing party programs. We were instructed to cease and desist party operations and to bring as many party members to Oakland as possible. Steve McCutcheon.
And let me say, that was a big, big mistake. We'll get in as the study go on, but that was a big mistake right there.
All power. Bobby ends up in a runoff election versus conservative incumbent Mayor John Redding. The Panthers' goal was to increase Black voter turnout in Oakland through registration drives, door-to-door canvassing, visiting churches, dope houses, taking to the streets. Bobby would take buses and speak directly to the people. Bobby made a promise that he would give away 10,000 bags of groceries with chicken in every bag. They did 6,682 bags and got between 20,000 and 50,000 voters registered. In the end, the incumbent John Reading was reelected in the runoff election. I want to speak about that real quick. From what I'm studying, from what I'm reading, Pantherism has nothing to do with electoral politics. Electoral politics has nothing to do with Pantherism. In fact, we're supposed to be building outside of electoral politics. I think his name is Bobby Rush. Is that his name on Chairman Zulu? Bobby Rush, right? He was a senator,
Yeah.
congressman for the last, But he was a Panther. He went into politics. Like when we had the data, you could go back his whole span of him being in Washington and see how that community, the community that he's from, how they fared. Nothing changed. The material condition of those people didn't change. So before they even divided and decided to go into politics, it's already written down. We all know, we all should know from our education classes that electoral politics designed by the oligarch system is not going to liberate our people or change our material conditions. But this was when the party divided, after COINTELPRO, after everything that happened, some people decided to go that way. And even now when we're organizing, there's gonna be people in your party, in your organization that still believe and hold on to that ideology of electoral politics. You can't change people. People are not dialectic materialism, and people are not Pantherism. Individual people are not Pantherism. They're not. The philosophy, the theories, the ideology is what you follow, not people. And these people decided to take what we have and took it somewhere else to go build something else. And now we can look back, because this was like the 60s and 70s. We can look back 40 years later. It was a failure. It didn't work because Pantherism said it was never going to work. The effect of the death of Martin Luther King for Black Panther Party was overwhelming in the sense that once King was assassinated, and the way he was publicly assassinated, it shattered many, many people, Kathleen Cleaver. It killed the last chance for me to be peaceful with them. They killed our last chance of Negro negotiation. But I don't negotiate. I don't believe in negotiating or nothing. Build your own institutions. That's what I'm here for. They killed a man who walked through hell to try to get along with you, and you kill him, because that's what they always do. They always kill him. Eldridge Cleaver felt if they didn't act, they would no longer be Vanguard. Many refused to participate, but little Bobby Hutton followed Eldridge. Bobby was shot and killed during a routine investigation of a suspicious person. How many times we heard that around here? Since then, they had retreated to a basement and a tear gas canister had lit the place on fire. Trying to surrender at age 17, Bobby Hutton became the first Panther to be killed by the police. At Bobby's funeral, Kathleen Cleaver said, "Shot down like a common animal, he died a warrior for Black liberation in the name of brotherhood and survival. Remember Bobby, April 21st, 1950, April 6, 1968. Nah, he died as a Panther. He died fighting on the streets as a Panther. So he should be remembered. He should be celebrated on February, Black history, not basketball players. Like you look on your social media page, everything about Black history is some toe shoe shuffling, toe dancing, ball carrying idiot. Like there's no revolutionary. People don't post that because they're not exposed to people like 17-year-old Bobby Hutton, who understand the conditions on the streets, demanding that he take action. And he gave his life. The pigs killed him. He died in what you call it, of action. What they call that? In the what? In the what of action? Somebody tell me. When you die in battle, what they call it?
Killed in action.
Killed in action.
KIA. KIA, killed in action.
Yeah, he was killed in action on the front lines, on the concrete jungles in America. After
Captain, Captain Africa, Tom has his hand up.
Oh, Tom, go ahead, say something, Tom, talk. Somebody got to unmute him? Okay.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I just want to say that you look at that statistic about how many of the COINTELPRO's attacks were directly on the Black Panther Party, and
then you ask, well, who were the other attacks on? And in most cases, it was on organizations affiliated with the Black Panther Party. So it was, the Brown Berets, the American Indian Movement, the Young Lords, the White Panther Party, the Patriot Party, I War Coon, the Filipino group, all the groups that were part of the Rainbow Coalition were being attacked. But yet, the Communist Party by then, the Socialist Workers Party, they weren't being attacked because they'd become part of the system. They channeled people back into electoral politics. And so that's what I wanted to say.
Thank you,
All
comrade. All
power,
power.
all power.
All power. Oh, no. After Bobby Hunt's murder, Eldridge Cleaver was ordered to surrender himself to San Francisco Police Department to go back to prison. On November 28, 1968, he didn't turn himself in and was nowhere to be found. He had fled to Algeria. Eldridge focused on opening international chapters of the Black Panther Party. The Panthers were welcomed by liberation movements. The North Vietnamese were moving into a new embassy building and gave their old one to the Panthers. COINTEL attacks on the party. Attacks on the party. There was ramped up police harassment of Panthers that followed Chairman Fred's death. A no-knock SWAT raid was held against the Black Panther Party office in Los Angeles, and a gunfight ensued and lasted over 4 hours. At least 3 officers were down over the course of the firefight. Media showed up and the police pushed them back. They don't want to see what they're doing. They don't want nobody to see. Ain't none of that new. They always hide everything. Pinned down and run out of ammo, the Panthers finally surrendered. After a quiet, lengthy, and publicized trial, UP Newing was finally set free. He focused on returning the Black Panther Party to survival programs, saying they are at best survival programs. We know that the people are in jeopardy of genocide, and if they don't survive, then it wouldn't be possible to bring about revolution. You have to have the Feed the People program. Like, people are starving. You have to have the schools. You have to educate them. You have to work with these people. You gotta have the survival program. If you don't have a Vanguard, if you don't have a system in place, if you don't have a cadre, people that are there working on a day-to-day basis, when something jump off, there is nobody to run to. There's nobody to go to. It's really basically that simple. David Hilley was chief of staff of the Black Panther Party, and he kept the shop running while Huey, Bobby, Eldridge were all unable to. In 1968, Richard Nixon is elected. He sets mandate, which is to crack down. He feels it's his personal charge after the 1968 election to repress dissidents. Nixon and J. Edgar Hoover, Hoover's FBI worked together even more than previous administration. Hoover declares the Black Panther Party is the greatest internal threat to the nation. For what? For food programs, for having food programs, for feeding the community, for telling the community to put up stop signs for them to fight for themselves, that they shouldn't be exploited. They're the greatest internal threat to the nation. Because who is the nation? The oligarchs. That's who they consider the nation. They don't consider the people the nation, the people that build this nation. They don't consider them. We're all nothing. We're like cattle to them. I mean, so for trying to fight for the people, they're considered the greatest internal threat to the nation. That's deep, because we have a party here, and we're doing the same work in the community. So feeding the people and helping people go back into their homes makes us a threat to the landlords. Think about that for a second. Given all of this, local police departments felt emboldened. The pigs felt emboldened. Like now, to take the gloves off when dealing with the Panthers. Ron McCarthy of the LAPD said, as far as we are concerned, the Panthers were a criminal organization and they wanted to kill cops. That's all I needed to hear. Gun purchases were set up through informants. Remember when we said, like, the party getting big, people are coming in? You have informants in the party now, setting up gun buys. So we show up, like let's say we show up tomorrow to go work at the base. Like the informant that they have set up a gun buy, we walk up into the base. We don't know this. As soon as we walk in there, the police come in and start shooting. Yo, that is why it's important to vet whoever's going to be around your organization. You cannot allow anybody to come there. If they don't hold the same political ideological line, if they're not out there on the front lines working, you cannot trust them. And that's not throwing shade on anybody. That's just being real. Criminal. Raids took place at BPP offices locations across the country. They raided all the spots because they had informants in all of them. It was obvious the government had made a decision that it was all-out attack on the Black Panther Party, Kathleen Cleaver. The party didn't have the resources to deal with all the ongoing arrests and court trials. They began taking donations for Panther defense. We almost done. A few more slides. I want to get whoever want to talk, I want to get them in. The Panthers started forging alliances with international liberation movements, including North Korea, Vietnam, China, many African liberation movements. And that's something we need to do too. Not just around the world, but we need to start going to all these different cities and forming alliances within ourselves. Like we talking about going to Colorado next week, about the rancher, the Black ranch family that's being attacked. We talking about sending people out there. I mean, so like we got to start connecting with people all around the world. This fight is not local. Like I'm going to Africa in August. When I go to Africa, we trying to start a Panther organization over there. Wherever we go, man, wherever we go in this world, we're supposed to try to build something there, build institutions there. The fall of the party. April 1968, 21 New York Panthers were charged with conspiracy and terrorism charges. They were facing 360 plus years in prison. Students for a Democratic Society called for a fair and impartial trials. Big fundraisers were launched, some with stars such as Jane Fonda. In the end, the jury deliberated for less than 4 hours, and the Panther 21 were found not guilty on 156 counts. Jane Fonda, like I know, even if you don't know these people and their history, you know the government hate Jane Fonda. If you just a little novice, you just participate in politics just a little bit, you know the government hate Jane Fonda. When you look into it, that's why they hated Jane Fonda, because she worked and she aided groups like this. It ain't that many celebrities that do that now. Back then it was like, this was almost, I don't want to call it common, but there were more celebrities out there that really did the work. At Bobby Hutton's funeral, what was his name? Like he was one of the biggest actors back then. White guy. He was in Godfather.
Godfather, brother.
He was in the Godfather. What's his name? Marlon Brando. Brando. Yeah, Marlon Brando was at on Bobby Hutton's funeral. I mean, he was big. Like, who would Marlon Brando be now? I don't know. Who's the biggest actor? I really don't watch these movies. Mama, who a big actor out right now? Who one of the biggest actors? Patience, give me a name. Denzel. Denzel don't do movies no more. I think they done cut his mic. Who? Idris Elba. I don't think Idris was as big as Marlon Brando. But Marlon was there. Yeah, Idris not as big as him. Trials were happening across the country and were consuming most of the party's energy and resources. People were afraid to join the party, fearing infiltration or personal safety. Bobby Seale spoke at the Democratic National Convention in Chicago and was later charged with conspiracy to riot with 7 other individuals known as the Chicago 8. But that's like, we have to understand that's their whole purpose, to make sure people don't join the party, to make sure people don't organize. So the number one thing is make people afraid to be part of the Panthers, make them out to be terrorists, make them out to be everything that they're not. You saw it. It was when I read the slide with the COINTELPRO, everything that they're telling you that you must do to separate these people from the community. You have to expect all these things. If you don't expect them to use these tactics and works, you're being naive. The judge refused to postpone the trial so Bobby's lawyer could come to Chicago to represent him. So he demanded his constitutional right to represent himself. The judge continued to silence him up to the point of being beaten, bound, and gagged in an open court. Outside, there were protests supporting the Chicago 8, including Deputy Chairman Fred Hampton. I just want to tell you that the chairman of the Black Panther Party is going to be ungagged, and they're going to take them chains off him. Bobby Seale is going through all sorts of physical and mental torture right now. You can jail a revolutionary, but you can't jail the revolution. Deputy Chairman of the Illinois Black Panther Party, Fred Hampton. That's the last slide, whatever. But it's right there. That encapsulates it right there. Yo, they could pick us off one by one if you're an individual, but they shouldn't be able to get rid of the whole Panther ideology, the platform, the theories, the philosophies, which is why you have to build institutions to teach these philosophies to the younger generation. Like, it's important. You can't just be sitting at home and every time someone get mad, you go on social media and you post something on social media and that's it. Nah, man, to me, you're not on the ground. You're not really in the movement. You have to build these survival programs. You have to get into this community and work with the people. And like Fred said in that video I played, like, if you don't want to be around the people, like what are you doing? Like, you must be amongst the people. You have to go work amongst the people. You're not bigger than the people. You're not better than the people. The people is where the power is. And until you go to the people to organize the people, you're jerking wreck. I mean, but right now, anybody that got something to say, yo, please, like put your hand up. And yo, if the moderator, if you see them, like like let them speak. But we just went through this. I started at 7. It's 8 o'clock. That's a whole hour. I was sharp. I killed it. I hit it right on the button. But I really want y'all to speak. Hey, Stone, you know what, Stone? Come on, lead it off, Stone. Let me see if I can give you a question, Stone. Let me see. Let me give you something for you to work with. You think this could be done? You think people in the community can we can organize our communities to be able to understand, like, we have? Do you think that can be done?
I think it can be done. I think it's inevitable. It's just a matter of whether or not we in our lifetime are a part of it.
We here now, Stone. Now, real talk. We here now. We organizing. I hear what you say, and I agree with it. But I believe we can be a part of it. We are part of it now. We build it now. I have comrades here that I didn't know, that I just met a few months ago, a few weeks ago, that are joining our movement, that are joining our organization. Now we could do it. We can centralize our capital. Hey, Stone, where you at, Stone?
I'm out in Missouri.
Missouri? Yeah, I'm pulling up, bro. I mean, you let me know when you want me to pull up out there. We'll pull up out there. We'll give out some food and we'll put something together and we'll start working together. I know people getting kicked out of their homes over there. We'll work something out. Like, I believe this can be done. We don't have to wait till we die. We could build the foundation right now. Well, not even the foundation. The foundation been built already by our ancestors. It's already been built. We just carrying on the legacy. But anybody else want to say something?
Yeah, Felix has his hand up. Felix has his hand up.
I see Felix. Go ahead, Felix.
Hey, y'all. Really happy to be here, man. Sorry. But I really am motivated and optimistic by the stuff I'm learning in these classes. Really informative, and it's the truth. It's everything in this class is the truth. And it's helping me to better speak to the homeless neighbors that I'm working with in the community. I'm located in Missouri myself, but I just want to know how I can help associate people with the party that, you know, ain't really got access to, like, the internet and shit like that, you know, like printing stuff off, you know what I mean? Like, I got to go to the library to print stuff off, and I don't really know, like, how cautious I should be, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand, brother. Hey, Chairman, you want to say anything to him? Because you know you don't want to talk to us.
Definitely. First, I want to say, Stone, there's your comrade right there in Missouri to get something going. So that's 2 of you, and that's all you need to open up a UPM collective out there. But let me say, the most important thing you can do is go into the community with a pen and paper and try to ascertain what the needs of the masses of the people are. Not listen to the politicians, not listen to the bourgeois, elitists, but actually go and talk to the people. And then
Yeah.
if all of them tell you that their problem, let's say, is homelessness, or their problem is the police harassing them, then you come up with a program that will stimulate their conscience so they can be, excuse me, so they can be mobilized around that issue, like homelessness. You could go to the enemy city hall and ascertain documents that will help them begin to get rental assistance, get some kind of traction to getting housing. You know, but
Yeah.
the most important thing is to have an ideology that you take to the people and relate to the people in a genuine way.
I actually use a method like that. I call it gentle radicalization. I use it primarily on conservatives because liberals, it's a little harder. They tend to want to be comfortable in the privilege. But like asking people just general questions like what worries them about their future. And it's been pretty effective. I also wanted to say, I was studying your video where you were talking to the community. And now I'm thinking about bringing up Dr. Huey P. Newton's speech on LGBT and women's liberation from the 70s. So I wanted to thank you for that. Thank you all.
All power to the people. All power to the people. Thank you.
Rob Bridge, please unmute.
You said, yeah. Who that, Rob? Where you at, Rob? Come on, Rob.
I'm standing out front of the Chuck E. Cheese. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
You what? You doing at Chuck E. Cheese?
Yeah, can everyone hear me? All right. No, there's a lot this class has went over. I mean, it could start from the beginning. We talking about the Vanguard. We could talk, but I wanted to bring it up and highlight something that really stood out to me about the COINTEL aspect of it. And a lot of times that we end up unknowingly doing the job of COINTEL, you know, when we reveal too much information, when we allow records into the party, things like that. And I think a lot of times there's a lot of egos and stuff when joining in the party. Everybody wants to be heard. Everybody wants to, you know, is thinking about themselves in an aspect of how they could contribute to the collective. And then sometimes there may be some egos or some individual aspects that conflict, and then there becomes other issues. And I think that we have to, you know, examine ourselves when we start to, you know, join with a movement of more than one person, because, you know, oftentimes something as simple as something not going your way could cause an issue within the whole party because it didn't go your way, right? And this is something that COINTELPRO could laugh at because they didn't even have to do anything, right? They didn't even have to cause problems within the party. So I think we really need to examine, you know, these certain aspects of ourselves, but also when examining ourselves, understand our weaknesses, right? I'm a family guy, right? So I understand that when COINTEL will come after me, what are they going to come after? They're going to come after my family, right? They're going to come after, you know, different aspects of maybe my past, different aspects of whatever, to cause issues and cause conflicts within the movement, something that I'm establishing, right? So I have to understand that that's my weakness. And what am I going to do to try to eradicate that? Like, what kind of understanding that I have from my family? Like, what am I teaching my family to know that if something happened to me, that, you know, it was for something, you know, bigger than me, something that contributed to the betterment of the whole. And I hope that, you know, if I'm not around no more, you know, that you know, some Panthers that I build up with can look out for my family, you know. And this is something that we all have to really reconcile with, you know, really have to figure out how it is that we can move forward. This is just like a personal issue in which I'm trying to, like, you know, push forward, because, you know, we all have our own perspectives from our own situations going on right now, but you know, we're trying to build up these strengths. When we talk about institutions, we talk about building up strength. When we build up these strengths, we can combat that, right? When we're tight knit with each other within the organization, I'm knowing that there's no way that this person in the party is working with COINTELPRO. I was with this person 24/7. I'm always seeing him. I know he's at. I know his wife. I know his kids. I know everything's at. I know he wasn't doing this. And this is where it really gets really deep with the community aspect of it. But that was just something I was I was just thinking of, there's so much that came off of the, the history that was just talked about. When we look at, different issues that came out of the party from, Eldridge Cleaver, and when he was in Algeria, and there were times in which there was things that never got investigated. There was drama that was dropped into the party that never even happened and never got investigated. And that's what we have to do. We have to, oh, this person was talking shit about you. Well, go to that person, you ask them, and you talk about it, and you guys figure out what the problem is, how you can resolve it. Or you might find out that it was a lie. It was a complete lie, and somehow now COINTELPRO is really messing with you. But this is where we really have to become personal. When we talk about being comrades, you come sleep on my couch. Like, that's how close when we come together, how we need to be.
That was beautiful. All power to the people.
All
And
power.
we did. And for the comrades, we actually slept on his couch.
Yes, we
All
did.
power to the people. Yes, we did.
Right here. Right here. I told everybody we got to get this book. And everything that you're talking about right now, my boy, like, it's inside these books right here. This is my wife's copy right here. I mean, like, if your whole family is not part of the revolution, like, you jerking wreck out here. You cannot organize anybody else until your whole family is organized first. Now, let me read the part that she got highlighted in here. To distinguish real friends from real enemies, we must make a general analysis of the economic status of the various classes in Chinese society and of their respective attitudes towards the revolution. Our enemies are all those in league with imperialism, the warlords, the bureaucrats, the comprador, whatever, well, I don't know what that means. Yeah,
Comprador.
What's a comprador?
Comprador is a middleman between the corporation and the leadership of the country.
There we go. The big landlord class and the reactionary section of the intelligentsia attached to them. So it's like, it's telling you, like, this is what they use in their struggle, and they're breaking it down in their struggle. Like, that's why we use it, to tell us what we're going to deal with. And you read these books, and like, they're telling you right here, the people not to trust. Everybody should have this book. I mean, like I said, it's not a deep book where you can't understand it, but we should have these books, and we should have this conversation. Go ahead, Monica. You want to say something?
All power.
All power.
I just wanted to make a comment. I'm just glad to be here. I'm proud to be a New African Black Panther, a part of the New African Black Panther Party in Newark. I'm proud of my comrades. I'm glad that we have a safe place to learn, to evaluate, to prepare, train, organize in a revolutionary way. All power to the people.
All power to the people. All
power to the people. All power.
Yeah, like what you call it? Like Rob just said. Hey, yo, we all slept on Rob's couch. Me, Monica, Chairman Zulu. We all went down into Chicago, and we stayed at his house. I mean, we do this. Like, we not just here talking. Rob didn't just pop up out of nowhere. I called Rob. I think I talked to Rob 2 days ago, and we had a discussion about some strategies and some things. I mean, we had a heated conversation. He said I was yelling at him. I wasn't yelling at him. You should see how I be typing, my boy. Yo, I talk the same way when I'm on Instagram and TikTok or whatever. I be typing hard. But we had a conversation for a minute. I mean, but this is what we do. Like 2 days ago, I went to speak at the council meeting where I'm telling people that's going through these issues that they could come, that we're working on them. And the police tried to come and grab me. You know who stepped between the police and myself? My daughter. My daughter stepped between the police and myself because she understands, she read these books and she go through these classes and she understands who the enemy is. And she's not in fear of them. I mean, like that's the work that we must do in all our families. Is anybody else hand up? We had 1 hour and 12 minutes. Nobody want to say anything else? Going once? Going twice? Yo, y'all terrible, man. Only 12 minutes of y'all speaking. Hey, yo, I spoke for an hour, son. Like, yo, I'm mad right now. Somebody got to say something. I don't care. We're not going nowhere till somebody say something. Nah, it ain't gonna just be Africa talking out here. Nah, that's not it.
No, I wanted to chime in on the part about Vanguard.
Patience want to say something.
All right, go ahead, Patience.
Can anybody share with us what they're doing in their community or what, we can help them with like, I know everybody can't do everything, but if we got social media, if you want us to spread the word, if you want us to bring attention to anything, please share with us. This is the time.
You could have used your what you call it. Didn't you got your but anybody need any help? Anybody want like whatever you need, man? Like talk. Go ahead, Felix. You got your hand up, Felix.
All right, so I do outreach pretty regularly in my my city. I get some pretty generous donations from some people, mainly spreading the word about it. I got an Amazon list. I also do some wholesale stuff. I don't need funds directly because some people get uncomfortable with that, but spreading the word about it. I mainly do hand warmers right now and like hygiene supplies and snacks. I also have gained a bit of a reputation because I met some guy last night just randomly. He's about to go to prison. I'm working to help get some funds established for him, but mainly getting some contact for him so he has some support while he's in there because he doesn't really have nobody. But he said he heard about me from the grapevine from some other homeless people. So, sorry, I'm speaking fast. I've had a little bit of coffee, but I also wanted to bring up a quote. I don't remember if it was from the class tonight or from some of the study material, but I'm paraphrasing here. The gun doesn't necessarily kill a person. It's the mindset that'll kill the people. And I wrote my own kind of input on it. Revolutions aren't won just because of guns, but because they win the hearts and minds of the people. I really vibe with that. Like I'm a transgender person living in Missouri, and I've avoided having firearms for personal reasons, and now I'm working out with my foster brother to have a safeguard. And I'm getting me a firearm. Like I'm nervous living here, but
hey, all power, y'all. Hey, look, whatever that comrade needs, like you just put it in the group chat, you talk to us, and we're all here to help, y'all. Real talk. We'll help that brother go through the stage. Like, you know what? I'm saying brother. Like, let me pause. Hey man, my pronouns is all messed up, man. Like maybe you need to help me on how I'm supposed to speak about the person you're talking about. Fix my pronouns.
Yeah. No, definitely. I'll put it in the group chat. I'll put it in the group chat and go into a little more detail. Appreciation. All power, y'all.
All power, all power. Yeah. So if ain't nobody got nothing else to say, we about to be out, man. All power to the people, y'all.
All power to the people. All power, comrades. Great cries. Great cries.
Revolutionary act is an act of love. This is an act of love. All power to the people.